everybody. Welcome back to the Tipsy Ghosts. We're your tipsy hosts, Sarah, and Lindsay.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
Hi.
Super self-conscious of how I talk right now.
Hey, guys.
How should
You
I
didn't
say
always
it?
do that. I didn't notice until she pointed it out.
You're welcome. It was only that time, if that helps.
And I'm probably just because she heard it a million times this afternoon.
Yes. I blame the guy at the dentist.
Yeah. Find another ringtone, dude.
Yeah, you weirdo.
Who uses that anyways?
Maybe his name's Joe.
Who uses like music as ringtones nowadays?
It's giving 2000s.
The 2000s called. They said no.
Do you remember making your voicemail like you would play the song on the radio?
No, I did
You're
not.
like,
do that.
Here's like the first 10 seconds of the song. Hey, it's Sarah. Leave a message. You never did that?
No, me and my friends made funny voicemail messages. Like I would have them like leave something on mine or whatever, but
There's still
You
time.
missed out.
it was, I remember leaving like random weird ones or whatever. Like my friends would.
Did you ever do like the hello?
Oh, that's so annoying.
That was my dad's, like our answering machine growing up. That was my dad's where he's like, hello, I can't hear you. Speak up. No, say that again. Well, I can't hear you because I'm not home right now.
Yep.
Oh, classic dad.
It was.
I was watching TikTok. I know we're surprised. Something came up and it made me think I should ask them this.
Okay. I prefer to have my questions in advance.
But I have a feeling you can still make it good.
Okay.
If you were intubated in the hospital,
Oh,
Okay. I have thought about this.
Of course she has.
what should we know as friends that are your absolute non-negotiables that you absolutely must have done or must not have done?
Are you wanting to be my power of attorney?
No.
No.
Okay, here's the thing. Nobody gets to see my boobs. I don't get any Foley catheters unless it's, sorry about it, unless it's you guys.
I will not be
If
giving
I
you a Foley,
were
but Sarah
to
can.
have a PIC line, or if I were to have any type of special IVs, I would want you guys to be involved.
You specifically.
I get to help with the Foley and the IV. I feel so special.
She's seen it done.
Yeah.
That is very true. Many times.
Also, you need to have your eyes and ears out for anybody talking shit about anything about my body.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, can
Also,
relate.
the gowns are ugly. I want to
Yes.
wear something else.
I'll put you in the tracksuit.
Like I was going to say like a cute kimono dressing gown, but yes, the tracksuit.
Make sure it's the windsuit specifically.
It might be hard to access
move your
your
arms
Foley
real fast.
catheter with the tracksuit on, but
It'll
we'll make
be a
it
pure
work.
wick.
It'll be a pure wick.
They're breakaway pants.
Okay, so those are your requests.
Okay.
That's just some of them, but yeah.
Sarah and I are taking care of your medical care.
Yeah.
Just that part. The professionals can do their part.
Mm-hmm.
We are professional friends, and we are now tasked to take care of those things.
Okay.
The special parts.
Yeah.
The special parts. I've never thought about this. Is this weird?
Also, if I come in as a trauma,
Yes.
you need to call Mike.
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
That's the only thing I've thought of. If I come in as a trauma, you call my husband.
Mm-hmm.
I would also love it if it was not nurses that I knew who were cutting off my clothes and seeing me completely naked.
So is it okay if we do?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
You guys have seen me naked. It's okay.
Thank you.
Got it. Everybody clear the room. We need a minute.
We will cut off the clothes. We will get a gown on.
We'll put her in her kimono.
Just because I have thought that's the only thing I thought of.
We have a special tracksuit. It's our friend agreement.
What are your requirements?
Okay. Please take out my contact lenses.
That's avoids the thing 100%.
Lindsay will do that for you.
I'm not prying your eyes open.
If I wake up and my eyes are infected from contact lenses, so help me God.
I've honestly never thought about that with our patients. Oh my gosh, what if they do have contacts when they come
They
in?
probably do.
Ew.
Somebody has to check it.
Okay.
Please brush my teeth. Somebody.
Yes.
And give me lip care.
Will you guys brush my teeth? And yes, chapstick.
Yes.
Because I see the chapped lips afterwards.
It's horrible.
If you could also please shave my face.
Yes.
My beard hairs. Please.
Make sure I don't end up with a unibrow or a
God.
mustache or a beard.
Just like wash my face for me
Yes.
so I don't break out.
I'm saying
Yes.
I don't need like a full beat makeup, but I would appreciate if I had like acne or something.
Yes.
Could you just like, I don't know, give me a facial or something?
No, like just like a basic toner, maybe a
That's what I'm
light
saying.
moisturizer, and I want my Laneige lip sleeping mask specifically.
If I come in with makeup on, will you please eye makeup remover, get the makeup off so I don't have crusties?
Yeah, 2 weeks later you wake up and it's just the same eye makeup.
Raccoons.
No, I want you to freshen my eye makeup
Will you
every
please
day.
put some deodorant on my armpits?
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
These are the things we need. Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm like, don't cut my clothes off. And yes, these are the more realistic
Okay.
things.
You also, absolutely no sedation vacation. I will haunt you forever. Don't do that.
Okay, got it.
And if you could please play Taylor Swift at all times
Yes.
in my room,
I can do that.
I'd probably be really happy. And
do you have an album request?
I think if you could just play all of them.
The complete collection?
I mean, I probably will need it several times.
She's gonna be under for a while.
Yeah.
How do you know that?
I mean, you don't get intubated for a quick hour,
Yeah,
typically.
Just
Maybe she was acting a fool and it needed to happen.
no, that will calm me down.
Okay.
I will behave.
Do we need to trim your nails or anything like that? Like, what if
Probably.
you're under for a long time?
Probably.
Okay.
If I wake up and they're curled over, I'll know who to come to.
Okay, at what
mad.
point do we talk about shaving?
Yeah, I don't care about that so much.
Except
Except for my face.
I don't care about my legs or my armpits because, like, if I'm intubated and nobody's really seeing them, I'm having a blanket covering me. But I do want deodorant because I don't want to smell funky. So we are taking care of each other's hygiene. That is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, but like the next step, hygiene, please.
Okay, I can do that.
Also, maybe put something on TV that you know that I like.
Yes, we'll put on the History Channel.
Please. I will behave if you put that on quietly in the background.
That and Dateline.
Yes.
I would please like SpongeBob.
Okay.
Bob's Burgers and Big Bang Theory on repeat.
Oh my God.
Okay.
So can you put this in your will? Okay, your advance directive.
I was going to say, she ain't dying.
Put in your advance directive. Evan needs to know that we're going to be coming in and shaving your face.
Totally
Clear the room.
fine. It's totally fine. He will see you come in and he won't even ask questions. He's just going to be like,
Crew's
okay.
here.
I'm sorry, do you want to brush her teeth and put deodorant on? No, step aside.
I have her Laneige.
I'm just a Burt's Bee girl. I'm pretty easy.
Ew.
Ew.
It will chap your lips more.
Yes.
I'll bring it anyways because that's what you requested.
Yes.
Okay, I think we're good. We're set.
I'm
Thank
so
you.
glad that we got that.
It's on video. I think that's good enough for the
Yeah.
courts.
So glad we had that talk.
This is our official document.
My name is Sarah.
These are my needs. Anyways, I have a story for you.
Wait,
Oh.
can we explain our sweatshirts?
Oh yeah,
It's December.
'tis December. Therefore, we must wear
Christmas sweatshirts.
our holiday shirts.
December sweatshirts.
Boyston, would you like to explain what yours is?
Mine is a fancy dancing Sasquatch.
He is sassy.
He's squatching around. Nope, he's having a squatchy Christmas.
Just have yourself a squatchy
I think he's
Christmas.
squatching around the Christmas tree.
Either way, I really just like squatching / squatchy as a verb.
Yeah.
Yours is cats.
Mine is self-explanatory.
No, it's not. You need to explain.
I have.
Oh my god, I just noticed there's little things.
I've had this shirt for several years, and it did have a battery pack.
Yes. I
And
had
the-
an elf
the
one
shirt
like that.
lit up, but I've had to wash it a couple times, so I had to cut off the battery pack, and now I'm just left with
Why didn't you dry clean it?
my dry clean my Walmart sweatshirt.
Yeah, so you can still use the lights.
Nah,
Mine says walking around the Christmas tree.
because why?
It says walking.
You're right. It does say walking. Because it is Ghost Pants. My favorite cryptid.
That's all he can do.
He's strutting.
The no arms ghost pants.
Look at him. Strutting.
He's got long legs.
They're beautiful.
Yeah.
I love him.
Anyways, I've got a story for you guys.
Yay.
It's a paranormal story.
Paranormal.
Well done. This is in honor of our recent trip to New Orleans, the city of
Bourbon Street.
Muffalettas.
Beignets. Besties.
Battlestar Galactica.
Okay.
I was going to say crawfish. That does not fit.
What is their slogan? The city that... No?
The city that never sleeps is New York City.
It's in French.
Okay.
It's French for let the good times roll.
The city
the
of...
Big
Crescent
Easy.
City, the Big Easy,
The Big Easy. Is that what
the
you're thinking
Big
of?
Easy.
NOLA. And for those who have been with us since the beginning, you might have actually heard this story already. We privated this episode. It was about the LaLaurie Mansion.
Yes.
So you get to hear it all again.
Huzzah.
Can you say her full name, but like in a French accent?
Yes, I will when I get there.
We'll get there when we get there.
Because she doesn't start out as LaLaurie.
Fine.
Okay. She does, however, start as Marie Delphine McCarthy, or maybe McCarthy. We're not really sure which way it was pronounced, but she was born in New Orleans on March 19th, 1787, and she grew up in a very wealthy family. Her first marriage was when she was only 13 years old. Big yikes.
That is terrible.
Yeah. She became pregnant, and shortly after her first daughter, Borquita, was born, her husband suddenly passed away in Havana. In 1808, she was married for a second time at the age of 21 to a man named Jean Blanc. And heads up, I will probably butcher some of the names from here on out.
I hope you do.
It's Boydson's greatest joy in life.
It is.
I think I found my Achilles tendon when it comes to languages.
French?
It's French.
Oh, okay.
Together, they had 4 children. Their names aren't super important for the story, but I had to share because there's a theme.
Okay.
Marie-Louise Pauline, Louise Marie Laurie,
Oh my gosh.
Marie-Louise Jean,
No.
and Jean-Pierre Pauline Blanc.
No. Can you imagine yelling at all of
repeat that,
them?
please?
Marie-Louise Pauline, Louise Marie Laurie, Marie-Louise Jean.
So there's 2 Maries?
There's
There's a Marie Louise, a Louise Marie, a Marie Louise, and a Pierre Plon. Jean Pierre. Oh my
The only
gosh.
thing I can think of is that they go by their third name because it's Marie-Louise Pauline and Marie-Louise Jean. Or Jean Jeanne. How would you pronounce that?
Genie.
So what if
Jeannie. Very French.
all 4 of them are fighting and
Jeannie.
you're having to yell all of their names?
Marie-Louise or Louise Marie.
Marie-Louise, Louise Marie, Marie-Louise, Jean Pierre. Stop it.
She's an
Don't make me
auctioneer.
come over there.
And then throwing Borquita in there. She had to. She
Borquita?
mixes it up.
Did you start this?
Anyways, her husband died in 1816.
Okay.
I left her with all the kids.
All 5,
All 5
right?
of these
The
kids, yeah.
Maries and the Borks and the
And the
Jean-Pierre.
The Louises.
Okay, 1825, she marries her third husband, a physician named Leonard Louis Nicolas LaLaurie.
Another Louis. But the male Louis.
This
Louis.
is where the LaLaurie comes in.
Oh.
Yes, that name.
So what does that make her name?
Marie Delphine LaLouise.
La Louise?
Valerie?
LaLaurie.
Where's the S?
La
Her
Marie.
name, her kids' names got confused.
There's a lot going on. There's a lot of La and Lou.
Right. Madame Delphine LaLaurie. That's what she was known of from there on up.
Madame
La Louise.
Delphi. La Pierre.
Some of those names in combination was her. Anyways, this physician that she married was 15 years younger than her.
Ooh, cougar.
In 1831, she purchases property at 1140 Royal Street, and 2 years later, she has a 2-story mansion built there.
I think it's Royale.
There was no E, so I wasn't sure.
It's a secret E.
It's an invisible E.
Yes.
Okay, well, in 1831, she purchases property at 1140 Royal/Royale Street, and 2 years later, she has a 2-story mansion built there.
Beautiful.
She lived at the house with her husband and 2 of her children. I'm guessing the rest grew up and moved away.
So not Borquita.
So, during this time in the States, specifically the South, slavery was prevalent. So, Delphine was no different. She even had an attached slave quarters built right next to her mansion. Stories started circulating about her horrible mistreatment of enslaved people between the years of 1830 and 1834. Funeral registers during this time documented the deaths of 12 people, but did not mention the cause of death. One of them was a woman named Bonnie, who was a cook and laundress. It also mentions her 4 children, ages 13, 10, 6, and 4. Again, the cause of death was not mentioned, but at some point in time, Bonnie had been described as, quote, a chronic runaway, which just kind of makes you wonder what might have happened and maybe how Delphine reacted. At one point, a lawyer was sent to her house to remind her to rein it in a bit because she was getting out of control.
Like, hey, you need to stop.
Even by these standards, you're out of control. But, of course, during the visit, they didn't find any evidence to suggest that she was doing anything wrong. So people were definitely talking around town. She was starting to have a reputation for just mistreatment of people. One of her neighbors said that they saw an 8-year-old girl fall from the roof to her death while trying to run away from Delphine. It was said that her body was buried on the property, and later on, an author wrote that it was actually a 12-year-old girl named Leah, and they claimed that Leah was brushing Delphine's hair and hit a tangle, which threw Delphine into a rage. Supposedly, she grabbed a whip and began chasing her, and Leah fell off of the roof, or out of a window, while running away.
It's terrible.
Yes.
Hair gets tangly.
It does. Delphine, simmer.
You need to simmer down.
We all get tingles. So either way, this led to an investigation of the LaLauries, and they were found guilty of illegal cruelty and forced to, quote unquote, forfeit 9 enslaved people.
Only 9?
Only 9. Yeah.
I want to know why that number.
I have no idea why they did anything that they did. Or the numbers or rules. It makes no sense.
You must forfeit only 9.
Right. And I absolutely hate the language that they use at the time, but that's what it is. That's what they wrote. So the 9 enslaved people were bought back by a relative of the LaLauries and given back to the family.
Oh, that seems like a loophole.
April 10th, 1834, a fire broke out at the mansion that had started in the kitchen. When rescue workers reached the house, they found a 70-year-old woman chained to the stove by her ankle. Later on, this woman said that she had actually set the fire herself as a suicide attempt out of fear of being punished by Delphine.
Suicide by burning yourself alive is intense.
Right. It probably had to be pretty bad.
That is a terrible way to go.
She said that slaves that were taken upstairs, in a room upstairs, quote unquote, never came back. So during the fire, bystanders attempted to help make sure that everyone had made it out of the house alive, but the LaLaurie family would not let them into this upstairs room. Bystanders then broke down the door and found, quote, 7 people, more or less horribly mutilated, suspended by the neck, with their limbs apparently stretched and torn from one extremity to the other. And I know that's extremely graphic, but I think it's important to tell the details because that's what these people went through. Mm-hmm. Supposedly, they had been there for months. There are lots of versions of how these poor people were found, but the point is that they were found in abhorrent conditions, just terrible conditions. Some were found in awkward, restrictive positions and wore spiked collars to keep their heads still. And word starts getting around pretty quickly around town, and people were upset at the way she was treating people. An angry mob then attacked the mansion and destroyed pretty much everything and anything that they could get their hands on. Delphine slaves were taken to a local jail and displayed for public viewing to, quote, convince themselves for their suffering.
Like put on display so people could see for themselves how bad they were?
That's exactly right.
That's terrible.
2 of the people who were, quote unquote, rescued, 2 of those people died. Authorities began finding bodies buried in the backyard, including that of a child, which they believed was Leah.
The 12-year-old?
Yes. Okay. So after all this, Delphine fled New Orleans and went back to Paris, and she died in Paris at the age of 62.
She got away with it.
So she never had any consequences?
No.
Okay.
She fled. So the original mansion was in pretty bad shape, as you can imagine, after the fire. Pretty much what you see now is not what it was back in the day. It was rebuilt in 1838, and that's what you see now. Over the years, it had been used as a high school, a conservatory of music, an apartment building, a bar, a furniture store, among some other things. And in 1894, a tenant living in the mansion, when it was converted to apartments, was murdered or found dead. We're not sure.
Oh.
His belongings had been strewn about, but nothing was taken.
Were they looking for something?
Maybe he was just a messy person.
I don't know. One of his friends said that he had been having problems with sprites.
I'm sorry.
Little tiny spirits.
Like little tiny fairies.
Yeah. He was having problems in his apartment with them.
Those
but also
sprites.
A demon. He was also saying that there's a demon in his apartment.
Okay, the demon is sending the sprites.
Yeah.
And they're just terrorizing him. They're like the little pixies.
Or there was a demon and then the little sprites were trying to save him, but he's like, oh, get out of my hair. Can't have bugs in the hair.
The demon said it would not rest until he met his end.
Oh.
That sounds ominous.
Did he end?
Well, he was found murdered.
He being the person that was murdered.
Yeah. Yes, he ended.
Met his end, unfortunately.
Man.
And we learned a little bit about this when we were on our tours down there. In 2007, the house was bought by none other than Nic Cage.
Nic Cage.
But Nick did not pay some taxes. So then it went back on the market and eventually was bought by Michael Whalen, who owned it up until fairly recent. and now it is on the market.
It is on the market, but we cannot afford it. We looked.
No. How much was it listed for? Do you remember?
Sold on 10/21. Right after we were there.
You don't say.
It is 9,492 square feet, 8 bedrooms, 10 bathrooms. I can even look inside of it. It sold for $9 million.
Oh my, that's a lot. Jumping around a little bit on the timeline, sorry. But so at one point it was used as an African-American all-girls school in the mid to late 19th century. During this time, girls would develop random bruises on their arms and scratches. And when the teachers would ask them about them, all they would say was, it was that woman.
I don't like that. I don't like that it was used as a school for...
Right.
You know, for children who are Black because of the history of that place.
Yeah.
Like this is where Black people were tortured.
And that they had
and mutilated
experiences. And kind of sounds like it was Delphine.
Yeah, I don't like that.
She traveled from Paris all the way back over. In the area where the slaves were kept, there have been reports of moaning and phantom footsteps. People have reports of being taken over by negative energy, which totally checks out.
Sure.
And then I saw this story on Reddit that I wanted to share.
Okay, yes.
So this person says that they worked at the house as a housekeeper, and at first nothing was really happening, according to them, they knew nothing about the history of the house. But I don't know how
Do you not watch American Horror Story?
I guess not everybody does.
Okay.
But one day when they were walking out of the door, this person got a whiff of something horrible, which they described as rotten meat, which does sound horrible. They could not find the source, so they just left for the day. And the next day, while they were dusting in the parlor area, they heard chains dragging on the floor and began smelling that same rotten meat stench. While on the third floor, they heard a young girl screaming and a woman running after her shouting, "Get in here." But of course, when they went to look, nothing was there. The last straw for this person was when they heard the chains dragging again, looked up, and saw a man standing with chains around his neck. They ran outside and did not come back after this. And then 4 years later, this person was in New Orleans and decided to take a haunted history tour when they came up on the LaLaurie Mansion. And they claimed that they had no idea, and they felt absolutely sick when they heard of the stories of what had happened.
I can't imagine living in New Orleans even and not knowing the history of this place. It's very famous there.
Yeah, they didn't live in New Orleans.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But, I mean, still fairly close. Yeah, you'd feel like most people would know, but...
Yeah.
Maybe not everybody knows the story of LaLaurie.
She was a terrible person. The house is beautiful inside and out, and we walked by it. Like, we actually stayed pretty close to it, so we walked by it many times.
Several times.
It sold the day after we left.
How dare they?
Well, it's nice that they waited for us to leave, so it's not like rubbing it in our face.
Maybe they'll buy it and, like I said, turn it into something. I mean, I hate to turn something into, I don't know, something terrible into something that makes money. But if they appreciate the history of, like I said, what people had to endure, then maybe it could be something special.
Yeah, there's definitely potential. Or it can be somebody's beautiful mansion.
I mean, yes, it is.
That too.
Beautiful on the inside. It's obviously been redone and updated. I think part of the high price is because of its history and Nic Cage owning it. And it's also right there in the French Quarter.
Can we talk for just a second about Nic Cage?
Nic Cage is all over New Orleans.
We found out because we took a cemetery tour while we were there. And we found out that Nic Cage has bought it's not even just a plot.
It's a pyramid.
It's a pyramid.
It's an entire crypt.
So they bury...
that looks like a pyramid.
Yeah. So we took a cemetery tour there because they bury people above ground there.
Yes.
And he has bought, it is a giant pyramid, and that is where he will be buried one day.
He is very connected to the city, according to him.
That's amazing to me.
It's for his future death.
We can just walk by it, and everyone's like, that's where Nic Cage will be buried one day. And we're like, oh.
And we learned a lot about crypts.
We did.
Would you like to explain a little bit about the crypts?
I was fascinated. So there's a lot of crypts and above ground burials, not only because the water table's low, but also because of overcrowding. Most of the cemeteries are Catholic cemeteries because at one point it was by law you had to be Catholic. And so I think it's still a large Catholic population. And so how they kind of combat that, because if you have one above ground crypt, you can't just have thousands, but you can share one with your family. And how it works is that a body can go in, and as long as the next person in the family dies more than 2 years after that body due to the conditions in the South and how it is just the weather. It's like a natural cremation, and they'll just kind of scoot whatever's left back and then put the next body in. And it's just that 2-year time frame. They can have, what was the max of
I want to say
people?
like 20.
There, yeah,
I remember
in the
a family
same,
of 16.
Yeah.
the very same crypt.
They just push what's left, because like you said, 2 years decompensation, and then they put the coffin in again, and then you wait 2 years, and
I don't think it's a coffin. It's just the body.
It's just the body.
Yeah, just the body.
And if you happen to pass away before those 2 years, you can be moved into the crypt.
You have to have like
after a year and a half.
a holding area.
Yeah.
Essentially, yes.
It's a temporary grave.
It was, so we did the cemetery tour kind of last minute. I think we booked it the night before, but it was fascinating.
It really was.
It was one of my favorite parts.
Yeah. What did you think about the LaLaurie Mansion when we walked by?
So it's beautiful. It was, I guess I always imagined it would be not as close to where everything is.
Right. It is
Literally
smack
right there.
dab in the French Quarter.
Right there in the French Quarter.
Like 3 blocks from our house.
You walk by it and you don't even realize, oh, that's the LaLaurie Mansion. Like there's no sign or anything to let you know that this is this building.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. Like we walked by it many times and probably didn't even realize it before they pointed it out. We talk about, in New Orleans, they have the gas lanterns. There was the gas lanterns that were all
obsessed. I love all those.
It was very beautiful.
It really adds to the spooky ambiance there.
It really does. I loved it. And I'm glad that you redid this episode, because I was actually thinking about it. I was like, Sarah covered this a long time ago. I don't think you can hear it anymore.
You're welcome.
So thank you for doing it again. Who would have known when you did that, how many years ago, that you would be walking by it with us one day?
I hoped. I actually kind of hoped we could
It was her
go
dream.
inside. But that's okay.
It was
Another
for
time.
sale at the time, and I don't think we could have posed as people who could have afforded
Yeah.
$9 million.
I am interested in purchasing
They also
this.
would not let us stay the night.
I stroll up in my leggings and sweatshirt.
I need a
May
trial
we
run.
bring a recorder and an EVP, please,
A
They're
recorder
seriously
and
interested.
an EVP.
to catch the EVPs. I have ghost lights.
I'm the EVP.
May I string my ghost lights along your staircase?
Just need to test something before I buy the property.
It is a fresh set of batteries. We can test it.
I have dowsing rods.
One of us can distract the realtor.
Oh, that's you.
Okay. I will distract the realtor.
Do you want to see my moves?
Oh, gosh. Definitely no.
Do you like Taylor Swift?
Okay. That I can get done. Oh, that was the week before she was there, too. That would have been easy.
Could have
easy
easily
conversation.
talked for an hour while we investigated.
Absolutely. Dang it.
Missed opportunity.
Shoot.
And now we will probably never be able to step foot inside of it.
We don't know that.
Never say
That's
never.
true.
We don't know who purchased it or for what reason.
But if you Google, Sarah gave us the address earlier in this episode, you can Google it and literally find it on Zillow and look at all the pictures inside.
For sure.
I encourage you to do that.
For yourselves.
All right. Thanks so much for covering that episode for us.
You're welcome.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in this week. You can always catch us at thetipsyghost.com with our socials linked from there, or send us an email at thetipsyghost@gmail.com.
Please give us a 5-star rating and a great review anywhere you listen to podcasts. We really appreciate it, and it really does help.
All right, guys. Thanks so much. We'll catch you next week.
Okay, bye.
Bye.